Give me found family and I will eat it up every time. Okay, we're moving on. We're not letting this get to me. I am moving past it. Sorry if I sound like an awful person when I talk about this book and I'm like, yeah, they're forced to marry each other, but I can't wait to read about their pain and their suffering. Welcome back to my channel. Today's video is a super fun one and it is a massive book haul. Most of these books were Christmas presents or they were sent to me by the author or sent off of my Amazon wish list. I think there's over 20 books included in this haul, so let's get started. So we're gonna start off this video with not a book, but a bookish related item, and that is my Kindle Paperwhite. So my boyfriend Nolan got me this for Christmas and I am addicted. It fits perfectly in my purse and I just take it everywhere with me. I have the app Kindle Unlimited. I have the subscription. So if you have any good Kindle Unlimited recs, please let me know because I love my Kindle so much. I never thought I would be an ebook girly, but I am transitioning over to the dark side. Let's just say that. Some other bookish related items I got were highlighters and annotation tabs. I really like to annotate, but I unfortunately ran out of tabs and my highlighters dried out. And it's just something that I don't buy myself for some reason, even though I enjoy doing it. And I am starting a bunch of new series in 2024, so I feel like having these tools handy will be very helpful. I just also want to briefly mention, if you're interested in my annotation tabs or the highlighters that I use, they're always linked in my Amazon storefront, which is linked in the description. I get questions about what I use and if I like them. I use the Mr. Pen highlighters. I really like these because they don't bleed on the pages, and I think the tabs are just like a variety pack, but I really like it because it gives you a lot of options and you can kind of match your tabs to the book cover. So moving on to the actual book part of the book haul, we're starting off strong with the Chestnut Spring series. It's all the books excluding Flawless. I actually already own Flawless. I read that back in April and it's actually included in one of my reading vlogs. I'll have it linked in the description or something if you want to go check it out. But I really liked it and I knew I wanted to continue on with the series. It just never was at the top of my mind. I just knew it was something I wanted to do. And these are actually the mirror covers, which are going to be discontinued pretty soon. So I knew when I was making my Christmas list, I was like, okay, these need to be purchased because pretty soon they're not going to be available anymore and then my books won't match and I'll be sad because I'm weird and I need my books to match and be aesthetically pleasing. So I have the 4 other books, Heartless, Powerless, Reckless, and Hopeless. These are actually cowboy romances and it's about all these brothers and then like people that are related to them. I am most excited about Heartless and Powerless. I think Heartless is like the fan favorite. It's single dad, it's the nanny trope. And then Powerless is a hockey romance, and if you know me, you know I love a good hockey romance. So yeah, highly recommend picking up the Chestnut Spring series if you want just a fun romance with cowboys, and yeah. So the next 2 books are also part of an interconnected standalone series, and that is Part of Your World and Yours Truly by Abby Jimenez. I haven't read a single book by this author. However, a lot of booktubers like Destiny Sidwell and Sarah Caroli really like Abby Jimenez and her writing, so I thought I would give her a shot. This one is small town. I think it's reverse age gap, and then the girl is a doctor and the guy is from like the small town. He's a little bit more blue collar, if you will. And then Yours Truly, I think it's about co-workers and they're both working at a hospital and the guy deals with mental health issues, so there's some representation in this. I am really looking forward to reading these. I'm hoping I like them. I don't know. I'm not the biggest fan of reverse age gap. I think I've read a few of them and they just didn't hit home for me, but that's mainly on how they are written, not the actual trope. So yeah. So the next 4 books are actually sports romances, which is pretty surprising because I would not consider myself a sports romance girly, but here we are with all my sports romances. So I have The Right Move and Caught Up by Liz Tomford. These are actually, oh my gosh, no. This one's way bigger. Why? Okay, we're moving on. We're not letting this get to me. I am moving past it. But these books are part of the Windy City series. So they all take place in Chicago, but they're about different sports players. So the first one, Mile High, is about a hockey player. And then The Right Move is about a basketball player. And Caught Up is about a baseball player. Everyone really loves The Right Move. Like, that's the one that everyone loves. It is a sports romance. He's a basketball player. It's forced proximity because they're roommates. And then it's also best friend's brother. So 4 amazing tropes, honestly. We kind of see both of these characters in the first book as well, and you kind of get like little hints. So I'm super excited about this. So Caught Up is a baseball sports romance. The guy is a single dad, and then I'm pretty sure the girl is the nanny. So that's kind of the main trope. And then it's also Grumpy X Sunshine, I'm pretty sure. People have also been hyping this book up and say that they really love it. They love the guy. And yeah. So the next book we have is Unravel Me by Becca Mack. This is the 3rd book in the Playing for Keeps series. I read the first 2, Consider Me and Play With Me, this year as well, and just really fell in love with the characters and Becca's writing. She does a great job of showcasing good communication between characters and doesn't really utilize 3rd act breakups, and if she does, they're very, very short-lived, which I very much appreciate. The Playing for Keeps series is an interconnected standalone romance hockey series. So this book is about Adam Lockwood. We kind of see him throughout the series go through a lot of issues with his girlfriend and just like their relationship, and then he's finally single. He finally got out of that toxic relationship and now he's looking for love. And this is his story. I love Adam. He's such like a golden retriever boy, and I eat that up. I eat that up. So the final sports romance we have is The Graham Effect. This is by Elle Kennedy, and it was actually gifted to me by one of my favorite book YouTubers, Natalie Lawyer. She was doing like a fun Christmas Amazon wishlist giveaway, and I was one of the lucky chosen ones, and she sent this to me, and it was so cute, and I'm so excited to read it. This is about Hannah and Garrett's daughter. She's also a hockey player, and the guy that is the main love interest is also a hockey player, and they kind of strike up a deal, and she agrees to kind of fake date him and talk him up to her dad so he can get into her dad's training camp, because her dad is the Garrett Graham. He is a great hockey player. He has such high notoriety, things like that. And he agrees to help her with some like hockey moves and help her with her hockey game, I guess. I don't know. I'm super excited. A lot of people have been saying that this book has lived up to the hype, that they were very happy with how it was written, that they loved it. Like, I think Larry Reed said it was one of her favorite books of 2023, which is wild because it just came out like in December or November. So since this is about the 2nd gen, I would recommend reading the Off-Campus series before reading this book, just so you know like some of the background. Plus that series is just so good. That is my comfort series. I love the found family in it. But yeah. So the next book we have is The 7-Year Slip. This book has also been widely talked about and praised. It is kind of like a magical realism contemporary romance, and it's about this girl, and she stays in her aunt's apartment, and her aunt recently died and she inherited it, and she's always been told like this is kind of like a magical in-between place, like you could just get lost in time, things like that. And her grandma was not kidding. It can kind of time travel. So in her apartment, it kind of like slips between the past and the present, and when she's in the past, there used to be a guy that lived there in the past, and it's a romance between her and that guy. And I haven't really ever read a book like this, so I'm very excited to see what it will be like and if I love it or hate it. This author also wrote the book Dead Romantics, which also is highly praised. I haven't read that, but I guess if I really like this, I'll give that book a try. I know there won't be a lot of like world building or depth, like it's not a fantasy. It's very much like, here's this magical aspect, we're not gonna explain how it is, it just happens, which I think I can get over. Like, I think I can get with it. I can get with the program. So the next book we have is My Dark Romeo. This is a dark romance. It's marriage of convenience, enemies to lovers, I think those are the two main tropes, but basically it's about this girl. She kisses this guy and she's basically then forced to marry him to save her honor and dignity or something because they're higher class. I don't know. There's rules to this kind of stuff in her society, and so they're forced to marry and they just don't like each other. And I'm so excited to read this. Sorry if I sound like an awful person when I talk about this book and I'm like, yeah, they're forced to marry each other, but I can't wait to read about their pain and their suffering. No, I just eat up the marriage convenience trope. I just eat it up every time. I don't know what that says about me, but I just love it. Sorry. So the next two books were actually sent to me by the author, and it's The Magnolia Inn and Rule Number 1, You Can't Date the Coach's Daughter by Anne Marie Meyer. So The Magnolia Inn is actually about these two women, so you get both of their POVs, Maggie and Clementine. Maggie is going to Magnolia because she is recently divorced and she just wants to start her life over. Clementine wants to leave Magnolia, but then she meets Maggie and is inspired to stay and kind of reinvent herself as well. And so this book is romance, but it's also heavy on friendship and just sisterhood. So Rule Number 1, You Can't Date the Coach's Daughter is about this girl. She's obviously the coach's daughter, as the title has said. And she has a big fat crush on one of the football players, Tyson, but her dad hates him. So there's a little bit of aspect of forbidden love in there. So yeah. So moving on to the fantasy portion of this video, we have One Dark Window and Two Twisted Crowns by Rachel Gilling. I think that's how you say her last name. But these are part of the same series or duology. They got popular on TikTok. That's kind of how I found out about them. And I don't know much about the plot. I just know it's gothic fantasy. And I haven't really read a gothic fantasy, so that really intrigued me. And I remember this girl was talking about this book, and she's like, Fourth Wing was my second favorite read of the year. She'd be like, what is your first? What is your first? And it was this book. So there are some high expectations, but we'll see. So the next two books are actually part of a duology, and that is Dance of Thieves and Vow of Thieves. I feel like this duology is part of that category of OG book talk books because I feel like I missed the hype train and everyone has already read these, but I'm still gonna read them because I think it'll be fun. Even though they're widely popular, I really don't know much about these books except that the main trope is found family because it's about this band of outlaws, and I just love that. I love found family in fantasy books. It's one of my favorite tropes. Give me found family and I will eat it up every time. So I think a lot of people are going to be excited about these next two books. In 2024, I'm really hoping to read and finish this entire series. It is one of my reading goals for this year, or for this next year, I mean. And that is the Throne of Glass series. So do not hate me. Do not come for me, okay, please. Because I know there's a lot of discourse about the reading order. After some careful thinking and talking to my book besties, I have decided I'm going to read Assassin's Blade first, which is technically a prequel. And then I'm going to read Throne of Glass. I know some people don't agree. I think that's just how I need to read it because I'm worried that I'm not going to understand some things in this book if I don't read the prequel before the actual book, okay? I just noticed that this has been upside down the whole time. Wow. That is so embarrassing. But I only got the first two in the series just because I don't want to overwhelm myself because it is a large series. Thankfully, it is finished, so I don't have to worry about the new books coming out. I don't know. But I read ACOTAR this year and I just loved it. It was probably one of my favorite book series of this year ever. And I think about those characters all the time. So I think after giving myself a break from long fantasy series, it's time to jump back into the Sarah J. Maasiverse, okay? It's time. So moving on, we have Throne of the Fallen. This is actually in the same universe as the Kingdom of the Wicked series, which I just loved. I love that series so much. That series is about Wrath, and then this book is about his brother Envy, I want to say, and I am so excited. Now, listen, if you want to read this book, you have to read the Kingdom of the Wicked trilogy beforehand, or else you will get spoilers. I know there is some confusion around that because people didn't know that it was kind of like interconnected. But I am so excited. I think we're getting a book for each brother, which I just love that concept, because when I read Kingdom of the Wicked, I was really like, I want to know about the other brothers. Like, there's 7 of them. There's 7 circles. I want to know about each circle. And so I just can't wait to devour this book. I sadly did not get the Barnes & Noble exclusive one that's pink and beautiful. I didn't think about it, honestly, when I made my list and when I sent out all these links and stuff. I didn't think about it, but like, this cover is still gorgeous. Like, it's just like 700 pages. So I'm a little scared about that, but that's just how fantasy books are. They're just massive. So the final fantasy book of this entire book haul is Iron Flame. And look at this, look at this. Sprayed edges, everyone. So I tried to get Iron Flame on the release day. I went to 3 different bookstores and had like 0 luck. And so I kind of made my peace with not having the sprayed edges. I did not think I was going to get a sprayed edge copy. I didn't get one for Fourth Wing, and so I really didn't think I was going to get one for this one. And I kind of made my peace with that whole concept, okay? I decided, you know what, it's okay. Grace, you don't need to stress yourself out, it's okay. But then when I opened up this book on Christmas, sprayed edges, I literally lost my mind. So happy. I'm so excited. I know some people were like a little disappointed in this second book, but I'm going in with no expectations. I literally haven't even read a review of Iron Flame. That's how serious I am taking this. I haven't read a single review, haven't watched a single TikTok, nothing. So we are nearing the end of this haul. I know, it's been a doozy, it's been a ride, but thank you so much for staying if you made it this far into the video. So one of my 2024 reading goals is to branch out into more genres. I started that this year when I branched out into fantasy books. When I first started reading again like 2 years ago, I want to say, I only read romance books. And I really never saw myself branching out of that genre, but then all of a sudden I was like, okay, let's read a fantasy. Let's be wild and try fantasy, okay? And now I'm like, okay, 2024, maybe I'll be a thriller girly. Like, who knows? Like, the possibilities are endless. So the next book we have is The Housemaid by Frida McFadden. I feel like Frida McFadden is a great beginner thriller author, at least from what I have seen on YouTube, on Instagram, on TikTok, things like that, just about people giving recommendations to get into the genre. I think her books are very fast-paced and easy to understand. They're fairly short, so I'm excited to give this a shot. I also picked up the second book in the series, which is The Housemaid's Secret. I'm pretty sure she's also making a 3rd one that is coming out soon, and yeah. So 2024 might be my thriller era, who knows? So that is it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed, please give it a big thumbs up. Comment down below if you've read any of these books or if you were gifted books for the holidays. I would love to know what your Christmas hauls were like. I also have a bookstagram. It's called currently.overbooked. I'm actually doing a giveaway for 10,000 followers. So make sure to go check out my Instagram so you can learn more about that giveaway. I also have a lot of fun videos planned for the new year, so make sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on those. And that is it. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you next time. Goodbye.